Hey everyone. So the last time I was in Berlin for more than 72 hours, I was a 19-year-old study abroad student, like the ones that you probably found on the U-Bahn at 8 a.m. this morning, still hungover. Back then I was poor and sexy. Now I'm much less of the two, which is great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about blockchains today. Everyone's talking about blockchains. No one quite knows what it is. Hopefully my talk will give you a better sense of why I think they're valuable, potentially very powerful. So today the internet is remarkably centralized in some ways. And we think about the internet as this like final frontier of decentralization, and most of that is due to the part that you can have access to it from anywhere, right? But there's been some convergence on centralization. And by and large, advertising dollars are a way to assess value and retain value from the internet. This is all fair and good. I'm actually a really big fan of most of the companies that are dealing with the internet today. But the internet fundamentally lacks a native digital asset. And cue, blockchains. So blockchains allow people to exchange tokens in a network without using a third-party intermediary. This is kind of meaningful when it comes to things like payments, and the way I like to frame it is it's even more powerful when you consider that the internet can't account for certain classes of transactions. And I mean transactions in the literal computer science sense, exchanging data from one place to another. That's a little diagram of what a blockchain looks like. My formal definition is a blockchain is a record of consensus with a cryptographic audit trail maintained and validated by several separate nodes. But I think the takeaway that you should get from this talk is that essentially what they do is they allow people to validate transactions based on predefined terms, right? This sounds extraordinarily banal. I think people's eyes glaze over when I kind of present this definition. But I think that essentially what this offers to people, and the reason that so many technologists are very jazzed about it, is that you can do things like machine-to-machine payments and micropayments. What's more, this notion of programmable value can be achieved through the use of smart contracts, which are essentially a way to embed business logic directly into the blockchain and to add extra parameters to validate transactions. So using smart contracts and external data feeds, many of the tools that I would have used in my previous career in more traditional finance can be achieved in a more lightweight way. Some basic financial activities that can be embedded are things like escrow services. When you consider that the global equity market is basically run on repo loans, which are essentially just an escrow service that one bank offers to another, it becomes really impactful that you can actually embed these things and take out whole swaths of third-party intermediaries. And just to color an example a little bit further, I have weather insurance. So currently, weather insurance is a crazy liquid market. When I got married 4 years ago, I tried to insure my wedding, which cost like $30,000 in August in Paris. And the probability of it raining on any given day in August in Paris is extraordinarily low. It's like infinitesimal. And yet, the rate I was quoted for weather insurance was an order of magnitude higher than what the adjusted rate for the public information might have suggested. That's kind of ridiculous. And the whole reason that this was the case was because I had to go through an intermediary who had to mark up the price, and I was paying for their labor and their time for something that could have been pretty easily programmed had I wanted to just simply extract the data from the public feeds, issue my own price, and convert it into a pricing mechanism. So this type of example could easily be deployed using a smart contract in a blockchain-based network. Again, it all sounds really boring, but when you consider that a lot of small businesses live or die by the weather, restaurants, grocery stores, this, that, and the other, it opens up a new world of possibility because all of a sudden these types of sophisticated financial instruments, such as insurance, such as escrow services, such as derivatives, can basically be embedded and coded amongst people in a peer-to-peer network. And I guess that's why I'm excited about smart contracts in general. So Tezos, my project, is a smart contract platform in the same vein as Ethereum. More than happy to take questions or to embellish further.
So there's two ways we can do questions. You can go to slido.com and fill in TOA. We also have this amazing cube. If you're less of a person that likes typing, we have this cube over here that I can also lob at people. So, who dares to be first is the question. It's actually not that scary. Any questions from the audience? Raise your hand. Pretty good catch.
Yeah, almost. Obvious question, actually. How is Tezos different from Ethereum? Because you mentioned it.
Yeah, so it's different along a few axes. First and foremost, we have a decentralized governance mechanism that allows the community to come to consensus on upgrades to the protocol. So that's baked in from the get-go, and Ethereum lacks that mechanism. I think that's the most salient difference. And then if you get on the technical side, like we have a few different approaches to our construction and architecture.
Hello. Okay, I have a question. Are you aware of any upcoming ICOs on the Tezos platform that you can maybe give us a hint on? And are you going to ship Tezos on time?
I hope so, will I ship it on time? So yeah, Tezos isn't shipped yet. It's not a live main network. I've been approached by dozens of people who would like to put ICOs on it. We haven't formally engaged with anyone yet, though.
Thanks. Any more questions? Raise your hand if you have one, or post it up to Slido. No? No more? Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
That was great.
All right.
Thank you again.